Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. We are testing some new for 2026 live equipment. I have gotten a new range extender for the Starlink. The last time back, it was back in the summer last year. I tried to go live out here and it just kept buffering and getting fuzzy and clouded and just nothing was working. So I'm putting some handles on a couple of knives that I'm doing. I haven't done a lot of work this week. Have not been in the shop. I think one day this week we've hunted, and we're gonna probably hunt this evening, so. Where's my pencil? Oh. I gotta stack all this back up to measure how long to cut this. And I cut it a hair long, generally. Generally is abbreviation for generally. We say a lot of words a little off the wall, so let me cut. I cut all these with a okay, let's see. So I mixed up my epoxy, and I ordered this DevCon epoxy on Amazon. So far for me, it has held the best, but I will tell you this. I struggle sometimes in cold weather to make this epoxy hold good. And I've struggled with all epoxy in the wintertime. So in the summer, it's thinner. I'm assuming it's because it mixes better or something. I don't really know. But I just know I've had better luck with them sticking. Every now and then when I'm clamping them, shaping them and stuff like that, it'll try to come apart. But I don't have a lot of trouble with it. This has so far worked the better for me. I had bought the JB Whale brand, and it held, done all right, but it wasn't as good as this, so I went back to this. But I see people using a lot of different stuff, and I think as long as you get something in there, it'll work. Because them pins, we don't really pin them enough. Back in the old days, a knife, them brass pins is what held it together, and now we depend more on the glue. Y'all notice them chickens doing a lot of hollering. If I come out here and start talking, they get torqued up. Every time. They won't be made a sound till I get a camera and start talking, and they go to screaming. I'm gonna wind up moving them off down the hill somewhere. Too many roosters is what it is. I need them. I like to keep some kind of, ooh, that just flipped in my hand and got glue all over it. All right. So I got my pins in this, so I start. And this is Purple Heart. I know y'all can't see a lot of what I'm doing. Once I get this glue mixed up, it's more about, hey, we got to get this put together. And I have had a lot of trouble lately. I don't know why all of a sudden I didn't change my method, but putting that lanyard hole in these knives. So I'm gonna go run this through the drill press one more time. Here comes my help. Come over here and hop up on this stump, talk to him for a minute while I'm pecking on this. You don't want to? That one is giving me fits too, Brody.
What?
I don't know why, y'all, but I've been having trouble getting that lanyard, this tubing to go through. I don't know if my drill bit has wore and I need to get a... I think I'm gonna stop right there. All right, so I have got some leather that stays glued in this. I sanded both sides pretty slick. Clamp it in that vise and leave it, and I got a sharp blade sticking out, so I generally put a rag or something over it. That way I don't lean into it and get jobbed. So we're not gonna do this big long live out here this afternoon or this morning, I guess it would be. Brody, where you at? Brody has wanting to go to the pawn shop. I've got to go get some deer feed. It rained last night, so some of the feed that I put out in areas, if once the feeder has put it on the ground, it rains in that feeder, you have to kind of refresh the feeder. So it's a really good feed, but it's very fine, and the bucks love it. So we're gonna go get some more of that. We put a little bit of it out here, there, and yonder. I put it out every now and then. We're gonna go get that, and then we're waiting on some cameras to come in today. They're supposed to be delivered today, 2 more of those Guard Pro cameras, and I'm wanting to go put them out. So I don't know if the batteries will be charged. I may have to charge the batteries up, but I always get solar panels, so they will charge themselves up. Roscoe is over here in the floor. He follows every step we make. He's been kind of needy the last couple of days. What? I know you ain't cold today. I bet them feet's good and dirty, ain't they? And you fixing to wipe them all on my... These are clean britches. They stain. They don't look clean. But Brody has set in. He likes to go look at the guns now at the pawn shop. So every time we go to town that Brody goes with, we have to make a trip by the pawn shop, which is going to get highly expensive for me in the long run, I can tell you. He shot the AR this week, a little 223 that we've got, and I don't get the AR out much. ARs are not really my thing. I like them all right, but it's not really what I want to do a lot of shooting with. I bought it more just so I would have one. Mine has a bull barrel and it's very heavy, so it's not really conducive for Brody to hunt with, which I don't think a 223 or a 5.56 is a good hunting round to begin with. I have killed some deer with it, but it's not what I would put in Brody's hands to start shooting deer with. I think Brody has kind of decided he wants to hunt a little. I don't try to make Brody go hunting, especially like in the mornings. This morning we didn't go. I knew I needed to get up. I knew I needed to get these knife handles here. I got 2 knives that I have just done. These are a matching set for a man. So we're doing a Gideon knife. I have done clamped it. It's over here in the vise right under the camera. So I'm probably going to bump the camera clamping it back in there. And then a Jonah knife over here to go with it. So that is, I didn't get that in there. So I glue them handles all up. I knew I was going to bump that camera. and clamp them in a vise and let them sit there for several hours pressed so that it glue sets up, gets solid. There ain't no air gaps and cracks in it. And then we will, all I like is shaping them and building the sheath. So this is the only 2 knives I have tried to make this week. We've been doing a lot of hunting. I killed a little old deer yesterday. Y'all seen a short reel on that. Not a big buck, but I have not seen big bucks this year. Now, they very well right now may start coming in as they start roaming, but I wanted to shoot one, and then I'm probably not going to just go to shooting every buck I see from this. And my creed is once I kill a buck, the next one I shoot's got to be bigger than the one I done shot. So, and it's questionable whether you want to hold off, but I haven't killed a lot of deer this year. In Mississippi, we can have 3 bucks, 5 does. So I will most definitely be trying to get my limit on the deer because we eat a lot of deer, especially if I grind it up. If I ground the whole deer up into deer like just ground beef packets, we would eat every bit of it. My wife will cook with that. She'll make spaghetti, chili, tacos, all kinds. We don't do a lot of burgers, like hamburgers out of them, because they don't hold together real good. I know you can put crackers and you can put this, that, and the other in it, help it. And we do that occasionally, but mostly, well, I mean, we like to throw it on the Black Stone, make tacos or make, spaghetti or stuff. We eat a lot of that kind of stuff. But I like the roast. The roast do good. So we eat a lot of deer meat. So I want all my deer, and I wanted to have some like summer sausage, link sausage made at a processor this year. I thought about trying to make it myself, and I can. My problem is I don't have time with everything I try to do. So anyway, is everything on the internet seem to be streaming well, picture good, sound good? What I'm doing today is we are testing a wavelength range Wi-Fi extender that I mounted up on the house, and it's hooked to the Starlink, and it's boosting the signal better than the old Netgear extender that I was previously trying to use. So I'm hoping that this works where we can start at least once or twice a week, do a live from the knife shop. And I think instead of doing a number like I do on the Friday night, Saturday night lives, that I will, I do an episode number on them. We're at like 106 or 107 or something like that. I think I'm just going to date these as I did this one. As I was making the thumbnail, I think that, do them all live from the knife shop and then just do a date on them. That way people knows, hey, this is current. This is this day. And I think it'll be easier and it won't get confused with those lives out there as well. I like doing the lives because a lot of times I can turn the camera on and then I can go on about doing what I'm doing. You can watch or you can turn it off and come back in a little bit. I'm probably not going to do like hour-long lives, and I'll try to pick at times when I am working on something that I can do. I've got to build a sheath here pretty quick for this little knife. This handle was really white, and boy, the light is terrible out here. But anyway, I stained that with some leather stain, and it come out really, really nice. This is one I've filmed making out of a file. So I'm going to put a sheath on this one and put it for sale. I don't know what else I've got laying here I have got to get started working on. This is going to be one of my next off-the-wall projects. I think I'm going to make it in the style of like a long hunter knife. It is thicker material. And I want to get fancy with this one. I want to just see how well I can do and what I can create with it. So I hadn't been excited to just take off on it. I've still got to finish a sheath for this one. So I had some grinnell skins over there. Well, one of my grinnell skins has come up amiss. I don't know if the wind blowed it off somewhere over in there, if the cat got it, or I've got several of them, but one I had done tanned and had it cut out, had them ready to go just about it. So I'm going to have to look around and see what happened to my other grinnell skin I was going to put on that sheath. I throwed it down over there and I cut the sheath all out. It ain't far from being ready to put together. But anyway, me and Brody is fixing to go to town here shortly. We got to get some deer feed, go to the pawn shop. I thought Brody was going to sit out here and talk with y'all with us, but I don't know where he went. Brody. So we, like I said, we took Brody out there, let him shoot the AR-15 to 223 the other day. So now I am trying to transition into finding a rifle and caliber that Brody could actually shoot a deer with. I've got a friend of mine wanting to trade me a 300 Blackout. I've got a lot of people saying get him a little CVA 350 Legend. I've got a 7mm 08 bolt action, a right-handed bolt that I'm going to give that to him eventually anyway. And I handed it to him this morning, and he can actually put it against his shoulder and see through the scope fairly well. So I don't know if Brody's ready to shoot the 7mm 08. It's got a casing the same as about a 308. It's not a hard-hitting, high-powered round, but it's still got some punch and loud, which I need to get us some earphones. We're using these. I damaged my hearing back long years ago shooting, but we've got these little spongy things we was using for hearing protection, and over at my dad's reloading building, we have got the we got one pair of earphones over there, but we could set up and shoot. I'm thinking about just going ahead and getting me another couple of pair of them. I think it'd be easier. The only problem is they're aggravating when you're putting your cheek and all that up on a rifle for a kid, especially. So I don't know. We're gonna play. I am, and I'm not. Y'all talking about the calibers. I'm probably not going to be letting Brody shoot over 50 yards. That shooting house we got set up's got about a good 50-yard shot. That's about the only place that I've got set up that Brody can really hunt out of, that he can prop up and shoot. And probably what I need to do is invest in one of those tripods that hold the rifle. With that, we could set up in the tideweed blind and clamp his gun in that tripod. I know several of y'all have sent me pictures of y'all shooting with one of them, and for him, he's not able to hold that big old rifle. He just ain't quite big enough. So I think that might be a big help, but I've never shot out of one. If you need to move, you can move that rifle around pretty easily, I would assume. It's designed for that. I don't know. But I want to get Brody a deer. If he's willing to shoot, and the other day he impressed me. When Brody gets that scope and starts shooting, he hits what he's shooting at most of the time. So if I take my time and be patient with him, we can make a hunter out of him. But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to get on here and do a short live out here to test out this equipment, test out if the knife shop lives was going to be a possibility in the future. Looks like everything is going well. I know we ain't got no pile of people watching right now. Well, I don't know. There's quite a few, actually. So I wanted to set up and run it and make sure it wasn't doing a lot of buffering and a lot of, skipping and jumping and all that kind of stuff, because if it's doing all that, nobody's going to watch it. So hopefully here in the future, we got some projects going on. I wanted to show y'all this little knife. We did a live on the back porch here. It's been way back before Christmas in the fall. And Joey at Butterfly Farm sent me a cast iron shallow fish fryer. And in it, he had sent some knives. And I had not read the letter, wasn't sure what was going on. But this is a knife that he has been toting. And he said he likes a small knife. So he wanted and this knife does not fit in this sheath very good at all, Joey. But he wanted one a hair longer. So he said I needed about a ½ inch longer on each end. So this is what we came up with. And I don't know why that has got I guess the grinder hit that. I'm going to have to do some more buffing on that blade. Look at it like that. I think the light is better that way. So anyway, that was my spin on replicating that knife. Now, of course, my handle comes a little forward, and I do that for the fact that you can reach up there and grab closer to that blade. I know a lot of people, especially if they start skinning with one, you like to reach up there and grab that blade up close where you can cut. Well, this has got handle up there instead of having to grab past it. I don't know. I've got to doing all my handles rounded like that. So that's Joey's knife that he made, and I've got to clean up the rest of that blade some. I've still got to build a sheath for that. So, Joe, if you get to see this, there's your knife that I've been working on. And, y'all, I hadn't been out here, like I said, for the last 2 weeks, the week of Christmas and this week. I've focused on hunting more, stepped back, just trying to collect my thoughts. The Facebook page has far took off and left YouTube. The YouTube just is not growing. It is not, I mean, it is just like just sitting there. And it gets frustrating. You keep doing it, and it's just not getting any more views. In fact, I'm slowly getting less and less views per video, which tells me that people are not interested in what's going on. Not that I'm going to change drastically, no whole lot, but what has happened is I've been so busy trying to make everything happen and do so much that it has gotten overwhelming to the point that you can't make quality. So I've stepped back for about 2 weeks and I've put out some videos, but I hadn't really focused on trying to put out really, really good videos. Now, last night I finished the TP video, assembling it and putting it up and getting it out there. I've got to do some cleaning up. I've got to get the aints out of it. There is an ain't bed in there where I had left some wood piled up. We are very blessed with fire ants here in Mississippi. I mean, they are all over the yard. So I've got some people told me about some granules that are high quality granules. They're expensive. But it's a little fine white, and I can't remember the name of it. One of my buddies was telling about it. He's in lawn care service, and he said it works. It's not the stuff you go buy at Walmart and Lowe's. It's far different from that. This is a little, very, very, it almost looks like salt. It's white, and he said it would get rid of it. So I'm going to look at getting some of that, and I've got to get rid of some aints, but they're in the TP, so I hadn't got out there and cleaned all of that out, and I've got to get firewood cut and put in the TP where we can start doing some videos in there, because I really and truly, I wanted to get in and do some primitive fire making and some primitive skill stuff in and around the TV, and then do some cooking videos in it, cooking over the fire itself. So hopefully, as deer season tapers off, this week will end the deer season for us. So we've got about 3 more weeks of hard hunting, and it'll be over with. So stick with me through that, and then we'll get into doing some other stuff. I know a lot of people want to see a swamp canoe hunting. That we're gonna make that video next week. We've had some rain, we've got some water. We hadn't got no abundance of rain. Now it has not gotten up to the way I like it, but it is to where we can make it possible to go down there and hunt. I want to take the 45-70 lever action, maybe a 22 rifle, and a fishing pole, and just get in there and start paddling. So I know we're gonna do that next week. Me and Brody's probably gonna go sit in a deer stand this afternoon. We're gonna go check on some stuff, and we got to run to town, do some feeding. Yeah, Dave, white perch has been. I've been missing my fishing. Y'all know I love to fish. I'd heap rather fish than I had hunt, and you can't do everything. There's not enough time, not in work and make a living. And I'll be honest with you, I've had a lot of knife orders that went through this shop, and I promised people some knives, that wanted them probably for Christmas presents. That what happened is I thought I would get to these names because I was thinking one knife per person. Well, I had about 4 or 5 different names that when I got to them, and hey, what knife? They wanted 3 knives, 2 knives. So that really stretched it out, because I mean, it's like this order. I messaged this guy this week and okay, I'm gonna start your knife, and he wanted 2 knives. So when I do, it's a blessing. I'm not complaining about that. Don't misunderstand me. It's just explaining why these knife orders took far longer than I expected them to take. I am not complaining about somebody wanting 4 or 5. If you want 10 knives, by all means will make them. But that is just an explanation on why I didn't get through the orders. So my decision is after Christmas, we're going to stop pushing orders. I didn't say we're going to stop doing orders, but I'm not going to try to advertise I'm taking orders on knives. I wanted to just make whatever I wanted to make, take them and get about 5 or 6 made and then upload them either on Etsy. I really wanted to get my website launched and going. I'm just not real familiar on how to run the website. It's built, but I don't really know how to lay it out and make it function like I want it to. I know some people that I can talk to do that. I just need to take the time to speak with them. And I wanted to do that. Well, since Christmas, like 5 days, something like that, I've went from like 7 or 8 names that I was lacking on my list to 30. And they steadily, so it's a blessing. But at this point, I'm not giving people a time frame. If you message me and be like, hey, I want you to make me a Jonah knife, I can't tell you when that's going to be. Because the me giving you a set time, hey, I'll be through with it in 2 months, or I'll be to it in 2 weeks. Then when the weather gets just right and I want to go fishing, I'm sitting here thinking about, I got to get this fella this knife. And now I can't go make a fishing video. Or I'm working on these knife orders up before Christmas, and I need to get all these done before Christmas, and now I can't go make a hunting video. So I'm like, you know what? I can't promise somebody when I'm going to get to a knife, because then I start sacrificing quality rushing through it. It ain't about the money. It's about trying to get stuff done and moving along. So I got to step back, take some time, do some of the videos that I want to go do, just relax and get. So I'm trying to, for the last 2 weeks, get my mind back right. And we getting there. We getting there. I'm ready to go get in the woods. We're going to go today. Look at the pawn shop. I have ordered me a buck mark. Y'all knew I had mentioned and you can't show a firearm on live. We learned that the hard way last year. But I ordered a buck mark. I'm going to go by there and see if it may have come in. And then we're going to work on getting Brody another hunting rifle. But I'm probably going to get out here and let him shoot the 7mm 08. We may try to film that. I don't know. Brody's never shot one that big. He shot the 223s as big as he shot. And he did well with it. So he might be ready. We're just going to have to see. So how y'all doing? How many of y'all have killed deer? I see a bunch of y'all on there. I don't have my iPad and all that out here. Dave, I have got a 22 cricket out here that I have let him shoot a good bit. Dave, where'd you find these hunting boots? And y'all, we will be doing live tonight at 7 o'clock. Do not mistake that we done this today, that we're not going. We're going to be doing live tonight, Deaver, at 7 o'clock. Creech, we going to put some of them hooks to work. I am ready to start putting. As soon as deer season ends, 1st of February, I'm probably going limb lining. Let me tell y'all this. I mentioned dates for Tom Bigby last week on the live. Goki USA. Let me write that down somewhere on something. I need a piece of paper. All right, I got it wrote down there on that. I have got dates for late April at Pickinsville Campground. That is the dates that I am going to put out there. There's like this, it's the Thursday through a Sunday. I think it's like the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of April. It'll be after Easter. Heart of the crappie spawn here. heart of limb line running here. Really, the limb line peak is probably in March, but up there on the big river, you're still hammering big yellow cats all through up to late May, early June up there. So heart of limb lining up there on the Tom Bigby. I'll have my camper set up at a site up close to the boat ramp. We're trying to do this early enough that those of you that have boats that want to fish can do that. I am not doing guided fishing. I am not loading people in my boat. I want to make that clear. I know, and it's for insurance and safety purposes. I just can't. I would love to take everybody that wanted to go fishing, but you just can't do that. So it's more about, hey, we're going to hang out, cook, eat. We'll be in and out of the water. I'll be doing some fishing, but I'm not going to be just taking everybody out on the boat. I can't do that. So make that clear to start with. But if you want to come and you got a camper, or you can set up a tent, I'm probably going to take the TP and set it up. So y'all keep that wrote down somewhere in the back of your minds. Let's see. What did I miss here? I don't have my iPad where I can really keep up with your mom fell. Okay. Sean Deaver will be praying for your mom. She fell. We've been through that this fall. My dad had a rough go, and prayer's what got him through it. There's no doubt in my mind. So yeah, we'll be praying for your mom, bud. I promise we will. A lot of stuff going on. I've had different people have reached out to me recently with stuff going on in life. A lot of people. The more people you know, the more people you find out are struggling and fighting, and everybody's in the fight of their life. It's no doubt about that. But anyway, y'all, I'm kind of killing time today. I was hoping the mail would run before I strike out. I don't even know what time it is. My phone don't let me have a time. I need me a clock out here. Our mail runs about dinner, so I have got to go. The places that we buy deer feed will shut down at dinner. So I wanted to get out here, glue these knives together. Oh, Purple Heart Jonah knife with a lanyard hole with white liners. On the dark wood, that white, really, that's the one that I have been toting. And mine is bloodied up. Look, I ain't even washed it. But now we come in yesterday, and the reason my knife ain't washed, let me explain this, though somebody thinks, oh, how nasty you are. And they will. They don't mind telling you that, too, if they take a notion. I come in, skinned a deer, got it in a cooler, got ice on it, and then we got ready. My brother's dad-in-law passed away this past week, so we had a funeral we attended. So I come in, pulled everything off, and jumped in the shower. It was very fortunate I shot the deer when I did. So I'm sure we were going to that. They had an eating after the funeral, whole big deal there. So it was an all afternoon affair. We did not hunt yesterday. So let me tell y'all about the deer hunting that we killed a deer. I wanted to film shooting a deer so bad. I have got video last year of me shooting a deer that I never put out. A 7-point last year. Would y'all like for me to put that video together and put it out? I also killed a giant deer last year that I never shared footage of. Footage never went on Facebook, never went on YouTube. Now that the guys in the camp know that I killed the deer, I'm going to probably, would y'all like for me to share that deer with y'all? This is deer from last year. Yesterday I'm hunting. We at the funeral. No. This is a day before. I did not hunt. I was here working on these two knives, cutting everything out, grinding, building a knife basically. And I was watching my cameras, and I had this young buck coming in and out. He was a mature buck, but he's young. He's a 2-year-old deer, something like 2.5. whatever. He may be a 3-year-old deer. I don't know, but his horns ain't real good. But we've got a lot of coil, scrubby stuff, and this one is kind of a coil. He's got some messed up stuff on one side, pretty rack on the other. But still, he wasn't bad. But he was fairly decent sized deer. Y'all seen him. He's coming in and out on cameras, and I'm like, I'm probably going to shoot that deer because, number one, I need a deer meat. I hadn't killed a deer, and right now I'm not going to shoot a doe for the next 2 weeks at least, and then I'm going to get my does. I've got 3 more does that I can get and 2 more ducks. I need my other 5 deer. Gonna get them. So, I watched him move day before yesterday on camera. Several times. He was there right after daylight. He was there right before dark. During the night, he come through twice. I said, he's hanging around there. Doe's hot. Something's going on. I'll be in there in the morning. I slipped in for daylight. Discovered that it was very warm on my walk-in, and I had well overdressed for the occasion. So I'm sitting there in my stand before daylight with my shirt pulled out like this, trying to let steam come up out of my shirt, and I could hear something to my right over there in the bushes. And it's, mind you, it's just daylight enough that I can make out the lane in front of me, and I've got a green field behind me. It's a kind of a big oval green field I had cleaned out. It was an open spot there before I went there. And I planted it. So I'm hearing something, and I hear something, and I'm looking over my shoulder, and I spot this doe come out, and I can barely make out the outline of this deer. And I'm looking, I get my rifle around, I look through the scope, and I can see it's a doe. I can see she's flopping her tail. When I seen that tail flopping out behind her like that, I'm watching. I'm dialed in. So in a minute, she takes on off, gets on over behind me, and I see another deer coming. I said, I bet that's him. Nope, another doe. Doing the same thing, tail flopping all around. So there's apparently 2 does down there that's in heat. They get on over behind me, and I can barely make these deer out. And they're not far. They're 20 yards at best. And then another deer comes out. Well, I barely see the movement of this deer coming through because I'm on a wood line, so I'm looking through limbs. And these deer take off over here, so I don't know. I'm like, did they wind me? Did my scent go in that way? What? Because I knew I done worked up a sweat walking into the stand, so I know, hey, I'm probably smelling right. But I see this deer, and I could see the horns, and I get on him. I was like, well, that's pretty decent rack. Y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. I could not tell detail of horns. All I could tell was, hey, pretty tall rack. Looks like it's out to the tips of his ears. It wasn't like, oh, I can count his points, and that's the deer I'm looking for. Wasn't none of that. Just, hey, this is decent deer back here, so I'm on him. I can't see his neck. I like to neck shoot deer. I can see his head and his horns and about this much of his neck, and then there's a sapling on this fence road that's there, and I have to get the other side of it, and I'm looking right behind his front shoulder, so when I shoot, I hit a little further back with a 270 short mag than I really would have liked to have hit. So he takes off running. He don't drop right there in his tracks like I like for a deer to do, which is why I've been carrying the 270 short magnum. He runs about 15 yards on over here behind me and stops again. And I'm like, did I miss him? Did I miss him? I'll get back on him, and when I get it up toward the front of his shoulder, I shoot again. Boom. He takes off running again and runs about 15 more yards, and he runs around behind me, and there's a road that comes through that fence road and goes up the trail that I walk in on. And then I've got a lane over here. So he's standing over there, and he's behind a bunch of bushes, and I get my scope up, and I look at it, and I make sure it's dialed all the way down, which allows more light to come in. Y'all know this. I get back on him. I can't find him in the scope. I drop this rifle down. I can see him in my naked eye. He's standing there. I go back up. I'm looking at him. I can't find him. Finally, I find this deer, and I'm like, well, is he laying down or is he standing up? I mean, I can't tell if he's crashed, whatever. And by the time I see he's standing there with his head down, and I'm like, is he smelling of them? Is he dying? It's dark. I can't see a whole lot of what's going on, y'all. So long story short, I shoot him again and he falls right there. Well, the whole problem is all this happened very fast. It happened in the dark where I can't film nothing. It's too dark to film. You can see good out there and see a deer and be able to count his points and turn that camera on, and it's so dark you can't see nothing. So I did film after I shot the deer, hey, this is me and here's my deer, and you can barely see what's going on in the camera. So there's a reason why I did not film shooting the deer, but this happened very early. I had him loaded up by 7 o'clock. I did. Got on the four-wheeler wouldn't crank, battery was dead. I don't know, something's drawing the battery down on a four-wheeler. So I had to drive truck and trailer all the way down in the woods, squeeze through trees down four-wheeler trails to get in there, and then figure out how to turn that apparatus around down there. So anyway, that is the story of me shooting that deer yesterday. So now there's one good buck that's hanging around in there that I would like to have a shot at. I have seen a couple of more decent deer come through since then. I had one last night that I've had no pictures of, and he's like a huge 6-point, looked like to me. He may be an 8-point. I could not see giant bright tines, but he had a fairly wide, tall rack, but it's not thick, heavy horns. But the camera down there, the way he was angled in the camera, I really couldn't tell a lot of detail about him. So we're going to gear up and don't know what me and Brody's going to do this evening. We're going to go over there. We're going to try to add some cameras. I'm wanting to put some cameras on some trails and crossings. So we'll be doing that today. But y'all, I'm fixing to shut the live down for today. Everybody, so far as it skipped any, has the stream been good? The footage been good? Audio been good? I know I asked this earlier, but I never seen hoping everything has went well. Let me read through some of them. Deaver, I had to turn that truck trailer around in a thicket down there. I've managed to do it. And yes, I hit him all 3 times. And yes, we're going to be going live at 7 o'clock tonight. Trying to answer some questions I saw that I hadn't done in a little while. I hadn't read in a minute while I was talking. Yes, we'll do later. All good, no problems. Get Brody a 243. I like a 243. And they're excellent little rounds, but I'm leaning more towards the 7mm 08 as far as that. But a lot of people's recommending a 350 Legend. I don't know. I don't have any experience with it or the 300 Blackout. I've shot 243. 243 is great for pass through to get a blood trail, but the only difficulty I've had with the 243 is with a kid making a bad shot. He gut shoots it. That deer may go a long ways. It'll go that small bullet will go through him pretty fast. That 24 caliber bullet is humming. And if me shooting, man, I can kill anything in this part of the country with a 243. I don't have any problem with a 243, but I'm a little concerned with handing Brody something that I know he's gonna make a bad shot. It's not if, it's when. And I don't want to lose. I hate losing deer. Another story, I shot at a deer Monday that I found one speck of blood, and that was it. So I was a little frustrated, and that was part of the reason I shot the one I shot the other day. I needed some revenge for my own heart. Decent deer I shot at Monday. They was 2 bucks chasing a doe down a lane at another stand, and I took 2 different dogs over there, and we didn't do any good. So I don't know if they just wasn't no blood trail, there wasn't no scent. No, after what I saw in this deer I shot 3 times, I ain't sure I didn't kill the other deer. But I'll have to go look for buzzards today. When I go over there, it's one of the things I'm going to do is to kind of look, see if I see buzzards circling somewhere. Larry said, 300 blackout isn't that great for dropping them. Unc said teach to aim small, miss small. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. William Vance, thank you. He said everything sounds good. Jeff, yeah, I'll holler at you. When I get on the road after a while, I'll give you a call. I like to do all my phone calls while I'm driving. That way I ain't talking while I'm working. Y'all like seeing my thumb move up and down on here? Yeah, Dave, are we looking for something that ain't got a lot of recoil? Brody is a little bitty fella. And the next thing is, if I have to buy a bolt-action rifle, a lot of people is recommending the Ruger American, like the, is it the or they got several different models, but the stock has a removable section that you can take it off, and then later on you can put that block of stock back on it. So you can shorten it up for a youth. And that may be an option. So we're going to look at some of that when we go to the pawn shop today. And I'm leaning towards that. But I've got a buddy of mine that's wanting to trade a couple of knives for a 300 blackout single shot. I may make that trade just to get the rifle. And he wants a knife. So, I mean, it ain't going to, it's a good deal for me either way. I don't know what that is for hunting right now. We'll have to look and see. I don't have any experience with that rifle. I've heard good and bad about it. So I can't really have an opinion myself, probably till I get one in my hands and shoot at a watermelon or one of these pumpkins or something and see what it'll do. That's the only way you know. Get out there and take it and start shooting raccoons with it and see what it does to them. You get an idea then. I got some raccoons that needs y'all. I wanted to thin out my raccoons. I don't like they eating me out of house and home and them feeders. I ain't gonna lie. They are cleaning up under my feeders. But last year I went in there and just wiped out some raccoons, and I didn't have no deer show back up there for a while. Oh, I'm a little leery of it. I have went in and trapped coons before around a deer stand, not a problem. Last year it was a major problem. The ranch 223 and 76 only, it may be, Dave, I don't know. I know they got a ranch and they got a Predator. I do like the fact that ranch has a clip that goes into it. You can put like a 10-round magazine in it. I like to call it a clip. It irks somebody. Yes, Jeff, I'll end up getting a can. After the first of the year, we can get a can without the $200 tax stamp. There's probably a lengthy wait now, but I'm going to find out when I go up there today what the story is on that. Yeah, I'm going to get a can put on it. That's the whole reason I wanted one. Larry, what caliber is yours? Larry said the 300 blackout, the right ammo is the key. Well, I'll definitely be reloading it. The Mini 14 is the 223 5.56. Well, y'all, we will discuss all of this a little further tonight. We're going to take Brody, and he wants to go look at the pawn shop again. We was there earlier this week. He's kind of hooked, so we'll have more information tonight. I'm waiting on my cameras to get here, but we fixing to go to town. I've got to go buy some feed. I got to do all this before 12 o'clock. So look, thank y'all for joining us live in a knife shop. I realized this episode we hadn't worked on a lot of knives. Did work on just a little bit. But we was mainly testing out equipment. Thank y'all for spending a little time on a Saturday morning watching us. Hope y'all go hunting this afternoon, go fishing, get outside, go do something. The weather's nice. It's like TK and Mike said, it is nice and overcast. I do like it. I can slip through the woods without shadows bouncing around. This is those days that I like to get a lever action gun and just go to slipping around. So that may be what me and Brody do when we go over there checking on cameras today. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with us. Remember, we will talk about these guns and all of this stuff a little later on tonight, 7 o'clock. We're going to put some deer meat over some fire. I don't know how we're going to cook. Y'all want to see, going to grill some deer meat? I'm thinking about grilling a backstrap. We'll see what we're gonna do. I don't know. I'm not leaning towards frying it tonight. I've had some fried deer meat recently. Think about doing something different. Anyway, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things, the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all all later on tonight.